I, that's tough to see. Well, thankfully, Meghan has now found the courage to talk about this on her podcast today.
Like I said, I was thankful for the job, but not for how it made me feel, which was not smart.
To climb up on to get to the top of the tree. And I've been fascinated to see the amount of branches that were built.
Oh, please. Before Meghan Markle started pretending to be the perfect royal, she was already working her real magic. Not charm, not talent, but networking with surgical precision. While other actresses were begging for auditions, Meghan was perfecting her side hustle, social climbing with a smile.
And little substance. And that's how it felt for me at the time. Being reduced to this specific archetype.
Forget tiaras and titles. Her real throne was at Soho House, the exclusive playground for the rich and restless. And standing right next to her through every sip of champagne and every fake laugh, Markus Anderson, the guy who could turn a nobody into a somebody faster than you, can say networking queen?
Is something that I talked about with the great Megyn Kelly, the host of the Megyn Kelly Show. Find it on YouTube, SiriusXM podcast.
Let's talk about Markus Anderson, the man who somehow went from serving drinks to serving secrets. Before Meghan Markle was even on royal radar, Markus was already busy climbing his own social ladder. He started out at Soho House, London as a waiter, but this guy wasn't just pouring cocktails, he was pouring charm.
Markus Anderson is very unique in the Meghan Markle Disposable Friends series because Markus is indispensable.
And he poured it well. Markus had a talent most people would kill for. He made powerful people feel like they needed him. By the time Meghan met him, he'd already transformed himself from an employee into the gatekeeper of the elite. If you wanted in, you had to go through.
Honestly, there is no end to this woman's deceptive nature, to her abject dishonesty. That's what we're seeing here. She does this podcast with Paris Hilton.
And that's exactly what Meghan did. She spotted opportunity the way a hawk spots prey. Markus had connections, and she wanted every last one. Before long, Meghan was jetting off on business trips, funded by Soho House, rubbing elbows with producers, executives, and anyone who could inch her closer to fame. She didn't just meet Markus, she latched on. He opened the doors, she made sure she never left the room. It wasn't romance, it was strategy.
She does this podcast with Paris Hilton on how, we've been labeled bimbos. It's so wrong. Meanwhile, Paris Hilton made millions of dollars off of that label, leaned into it robustly, which she discusses in the podcast.
Markus gave Meghan what Hollywood hadn't, instant credibility. Suddenly, she wasn't that girl from Suits. She was the woman everyone wanted to invite, and Markus, he basked in it. Because, let's be honest, even puppet masters like a little spotlight.
But Meghan Markle, you see, won't own it. Meghan Markle wants to complain about being objectified when she was suitcase girl number 24. Like she really thought somebody was going to talk to her about how...
If ambition had a face, it would be Meghan Markle with a designer bag and Markus Anderson by her side. Their friendship wasn't built on loyalty or laughter. It was built on leverage.
24 actually is the number of genomes in the measles sequence. She had no idea it was just going to be the number of the suitcase she was going to own. It's ridiculous.
Markus knew people. Meghan wanted to know them. Simple math. Together, they became the ultimate social power duo, climbing their way through society's inner circles faster than anyone could blink.
Without Markus Anderson, I hope to prove to you in this video that Meghan Markle wouldn't have the level of global fame that she enjoys now.
He introduced her to designers, directors, and philanthropists, the kind of crowd that could turn an actress into an icon, and Meghan soaked it up like it was oxygen. To her, Markus wasn't a friend. He was a career move.
What did she do? Did she run for Senate? Did she try to get a law degree? She go back to med school? No. Now she wants us to believe.
He arranged the parties. She worked the rooms. He opened the doors. She flashed the smile. And just like that, Meghan went from hustling for bit roles to mingling with the global elite.
Or infamy, depends how you look at it. But I really don't think she would be in the position she's in without Markus Anderson.
But here's where it gets interesting. It was Markus who reportedly arranged that cozy little weekend at Soho Farmhouse. Yes, the same exclusive retreat where Meghan happened to meet Prince Harry. Coincidence? Please.
Like, why would she say that? Like, I actually also posed for a saucy picture at one point in my life. I was 40, I was a news anchor, I was pregnant, I leaned in.
Markus may not have worn a crown, but he played kingmaker like a pro. Every introduction, every photo op, every chance encounter was part of a bigger game. Because Meghan didn't believe in luck, she believed in planning. And Markus Anderson, he was her secret weapon.
She is embarrassed that she's vain and vapid, and that's why she can't just own those moments.
Now, when Meghan snagged her prince, most of her old friends quietly disappeared. But Markus? Oh no, he wasn't going anywhere. While Meghan's Hollywood pals stayed far away from the royal circus, Markus managed to do the impossible. He slipped inside the palace gates without a title, a fancy family, or a single drop of royal...
The thing is that because her ambition and her sense of self is that, I should be the senator, the president, she's trying to pretend that these things in her backstory...
He was everywhere. Pre-wedding parties, private holidays, secret dinners, always in the background, always smiling. The palace staff didn't know what to make of him. To them, Markus wasn't just a friend, he was a fixture.
That she had to overcome like poverty or dyslexia or something. It's like, no, BS. You went to an audition.
Some insiders even called him Meghan's shadow. Every time Meghan turned up somewhere, Markus was never far behind. He wasn't staff, but he acted like one. He wasn't family, but he sure behaved like he owned the place.
You said, I want to do this because it was fun to do. But instead she has to, in order to achieve her next goal...
And the royals noticed, quietly, awkwardly, uneasily, because Markus didn't play by palace rules. He didn't bow to anyone, didn't take orders, didn't care about hierarchy. His loyalty was to Meghan, and that made people nervous. Very nervous.
She has to turn around and redefine her past. I think people would feel less angry, because I don't know if they'll ever feel positive about it, but less angry if she just turned around and said, sure, I look good, why wouldn't you move on?
Rumors started swirling that Markus still had a hand in her every move, even after she became the Duchess. Some even whispered he was still pulling strings from behind the scenes. Because in royal circles, no one gets that close unless they have a reason. And Markus, oh, he definitely had one.
Over-intellectualise this garbage like she's trying to win over a bunch of morons at a dinner party. That must have been
100%.
terrible for you.
Right, to have been so objectified. She wants us now to believe that she was standing there waiting to be asked about Bashar al-Assad, and then she found out that 24 was actually the accumulation of everyone's IQ in the room. Like, she knew.
Then came the moment that sent royal insiders into a total meltdown. It started as a whisper, one anonymous source close to Markus Anderson dropping a mysterious remark about his unbreakable bond with Meghan. But in royal gossip, a whisper is all it takes for a hurricane to hit.
Now, Markus started off at Soho House, London as a waiter, and he worked his way up. Now, this is an astounding story in itself. He worked his way up to global membership director.
Within hours, tabloids went wild. Headlines screamed that Markus Anderson, Meghan's so-called best friend, had finally spilled royal tea. Suddenly, every photo, every trip, every cozy dinner between them was evidence. The palace freaked out. PR teams scrambled, calls were made, stories pulled. Meghan, who was already battling the press, now had a new crisis, and this one came from inside her own circle.
And he was a global membership director when he first met Meghan. Now, his job was to go to a new city wherever they were opening up a new Soho House.
Markus stayed silent. Not a single denial, not a single explanation, just silence. Which, of course, only made it worse. People started asking, what did Markus really know? What had he seen? What could he say if he ever decided to talk?
And his job was to find the best and the brightest of that city to invite to the founding members' party. And they didn't just invite anybody.
Meghan was furious. Insiders claimed betrayal cut deep, especially when it came from the man who helped build her brand. It was the ultimate royal irony. The one person who helped make her untouchable had now become her biggest liability, and his silence. Oh, that was the loudest part of all.
in the social scene of the city where they were opening up. Now, it always worried me that all of the biographers that have done books on Meghan Markle, and also a lot of people that have done interviews and magazine articles.
When the so-called Marcus leak hit the press, Buckingham Palace basically went into cardiac arrest. You could practically hear the pearls clutching all the way from London to Los Angeles.
Sort of imply that just because she was in suits, that was how she met Markus Anderson in Canada.
Behind those stone walls, it was chaos. Aides running around, phones ringing off the hook. Everyone trying to figure out how a glorified Soho House socialite had just shaken the monarchy. The PR team called it containment mode. Translation: panic mode. They wanted to know who talked, who leaked, and what Markus Anderson might be hiding. Because if this man ever opened his mouth fully, there'd be no tiaras left to polish.
And that always worried me because I knew that in those early seasons of Suits, they pretty much weren't on the map with many people. And I couldn't see that Markus Anderson would necessarily meet her.
Meanwhile, Meghan's team scrambled to fix the mess. Soft statements about loyalty and misunderstood friendships started popping up everywhere, but it was too late. The world had its headline: Meghan Markle betrayed by her closest friend.
And I doubted that she would have the cachet to be at the opening night party. But these were just all my own ideas, and I couldn't really prove anything, but it niggled at me.
And Marcus, he just vanished. No tweets, no appearances, nothing. The guy who once couldn't walk into a party without being photographed suddenly turned into a ghost.
And so I went for a bit of a deep dive, and I found the Toronto Life social pages.
That silence was deafening and dangerous. Because in royal circles, silence doesn't mean innocence. It means you're holding all the receipts. The palace wanted this story buried. Meghan wanted it erased. But the tabloids, they smelled blood. And in the royal food chain, once they taste scandal, they never let go. After the fallout, Markus Anderson's name became radioactive. No one dared say it out loud, but everyone was whispering it behind closed doors.
And so I went for a bit of a deep dive, and I found the Toronto Life social pages. And they reported on the opening night of the Toronto Soho House. And it was very interesting to see who they mentioned in that column.
Because here's the truth. Marcus had seen everything. The dinners, the arguments, the frantic late-night calls. He knew what Meghan said when the cameras stopped rolling, and what she really thought of her new royal in-law.
Column. Now, I would assume that if the cast from Suits were invited to that opening night founding members party, which is that is the party.
That's what terrified them all. Marcus wasn't just a friend, he was an eyewitness. Old photos resurfaced Marcus and Meghan laughing at parties, traveling together, whispering in each other's ears. The tabloids twisted every shot into proof of conspiracy, betrayal, or worse. Meghan was branded manipulative, and Marcus was partner in crime in fancy clothes
that you want to get into if you're going to ever be anybody. If you're not in that opening night party, then pretty much anyone who's a founding member probably wouldn't bother.
Inside the palace, they didn't see a friendship. They saw a threat. Rumors flew that aides tried to discourage Meghan from keeping Marcus too close, especially after private details started mysteriously appearing in the press.
When I read this article, I'll read to you who attended that opening night party. Now, members from other Soho houses came in, huge stars.
Marcus didn't defend himself. He didn't have to. His silence became its own kind of weapon. Because when someone who knows that much suddenly goes quiet, it makes everyone else nervous.
Keira Knightley, Jude Law, Bruce Willis, Amy Adams, Bradley Cooper, Dustin Hoffman, Naomi Watts, Zac Efron and Jennifer Lawrence.